Hello everyone, I hope you're doing very well. Today I am not at home, I'm visiting my parents. Myself and Alison are visiting my parents who have got a flat, kind of retirement flat, in a place called Felixstowe on the basically the east side of England, looking out into the sea. And so I thought we would have a little look together. I've been looking at the ships and I thought I'd get the video camera out and have a little look together at some of the ships, the ship transponders, and maybe even some over-the-horizon effects. As you know, I'm getting interested in naval military history at the moment, and I thought we'd just have a look around. I've got that ship still here. So what I'm going to first do, let me just turn the camera over. So my instrumentation for today on the chair is a laptop, Dad's laptop. I've just say I've managed to sneak away from the family for a minute, so we'll have to be quite quick with that website there. This tracks all of the transponders on all of the ships, well, pretty much anywhere in the world, I think, but you know, this is just relevant for today. I need a pointer really, but there we are in Felixstowe, and there's out that way, out the window, if you can see. The exposure is going to fix itself. Got a tripod, we've got a compass, a really surprisingly expensive compass, annoyingly, and that I've got that set up in north, so you can say due east is going to be that way, and this is how I'm going to orientate the camera on the relevant bearings. And of course, cup of tea, black, no sugar, of course. So let's see what we've got. Let me just go and acquire a pointer. So if we're here, we've got a pleasure craft there, purple, 1.5 nautical miles off. I can't see him anywhere, but okay. There's always a chance they're slightly out of date. Got another pleasure craft there. We've got a, damn, I've forgotten what the blues are. So I'm going to have to work that out. Two more pleasure craft. We've got light buoy, two more light buoys, or you know, it's probably more advanced than that. Another pleasure craft there. We've got an old abandoned oil rig there, a very old one that's you can go and visit, I believe. We've got a static commercial tanker, a moving commercial tanker, unknown, all the way out here. We've got greens. Oh God, what are the greens? Can't remember what the greens are. Can't remember what the beiges are. Yellows are service vehicles for the windmill farms. Here are Windmill Farm 1. Windmill Farm 2, so Windmill Farm 1 is about 100 from us. Windmill Farm 2 down here is about 120, 130, so we're going to have a look at them. In terms of miles, nautical miles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, that's 24 nautical miles from us there to Wind Farm 1. Getting nearer 30 nautical miles to Wind Farm 2, so we're going to have all kinds of interesting effects to look at with that. So what I'll do is I'll kind of freeze frame that there, and what we'll do is I'll mount the camera up now and we'll go and have a look. I should say this here is the static old oil rig, discontinued. Okay, so let's go and have a look out the window now. Okay, so for this to work we're going to pretend that we're on a World War II Dreadnought flagship. We're on the foremast and we're 120 feet above the water, because that's where we are. We're up on the 3rd floor flat here and above the cliffs. So 120 feet ASL, well that's above mean sea level, but it's near enough for today. And so we've got to think about that this is going to give us the ability to see over the horizon. So we can see, if we were down at sea level, we wouldn't be able to see this stuff, and these effects are going to get a little bit weird. So let's zoom in on Big Bertha here. Looking at the compass, he is 120. That I'd say is about a 1,000 tonner, 100,000 tonner for Hamburg South. We're looking at now from our Dreadnought, and his distance is really deceiving. How far would you think he's away? 3 miles, 2 miles, maybe 4 miles? Because of the size of him, it's very deceiving. And what we've actually got him here at, I can see him moving, is 1, 2, 3, 3, so 3 times 4, that's 12 nautical miles away. It's just so massive, it looks like that, and it's assuming that the map is right, you know, we have to assume that the map is right, then that's real beast. It is nowhere near the horizon, look, so it looks like we're going to be able to look out probably well over, well, I don't know, maybe 20 miles or something. So we've got that, and he's moving according to the map north-northeast, and he is, according to our viewfinder. What else have we got? We've got pleasure craft down here. I'm going to just try and tilt the thing down here. After a certain tonnage they will have a transponder on them and we'll be able to see them. In fact, I can see this guy right here who's actually coming up as light blue for whatever reason, this particular type of craft. He is at 1.5 nautical miles. Oh look, he's going to go right in front of this big guy here. How interesting, right? Let's keep scanning the seas. Him. Okay, checking a compass now at 100. 100. It's a static. It's anchored there. It looks like fishery or something industrial. And I'm looking at my map now, and annoyingly he's not there. He was there a little bit. Let me refresh the map. Maybe because he's anchored, he's not showing up, which is very odd. He was there. He was about 5 nautical miles off. In fact, is there a buoy over it? Can you see a buoy? I'm kind of looking through the viewfinder here, which is very small. Is he next to a buoy? No, it's that static. Annoyingly, I think he's disappeared off the map. So we're going to annoy him for a little bit. Last time I saw him, he was about 5 nautical miles away next to a light buoy. Now his gets a bit more interesting. He's a static tanker waiting in line to get into Felixstowe. I'm just looking through the viewfinder and I'm just having a guess at 200,000 tonnes. It's probably less. I'm not sure. 150? It's a tiny little screen. I've got to see this one, so only a few pixels. And he is 1, 2, 3, 4 grid squares away. That's 16 nautical miles. He is over the horizon, but obviously because we're 120 feet up, he is not over the horizon. Now the interesting thing is, can we get any optical effects caused by the heat of the sea bending light rays? I just can't see him. I have to wait it. I think yes, I can see it. If you look under the rear superstructure, the white superstructure, and I'm doing this again by a tiny little screen with a few pixels, but if you see below the hull, I think you can start to see optical illusion, a mirage, an image of the boat upside down, I think. Again, we'll analyse this better when I get the footage back. And that's caused, if so, by the sea heating up. It's a warmish day, and you get a boundary layer of hot air just above the sea, and that cools as you go up, obviously, relatively rapidly. And the light rays between that ship and me, incoming to me, move at different speeds and are therefore bent in the different temperatures of that air. And what I get with my eye or my camera here is a picture of the ship, and then a picture of a ship below it, upside down. Weird, huh? So this would be when we talk about, oh look, the old, he's Oscar Mike now, he might start showing up on our scanners again. I'm going to get the scanners going. So, he's not registering yet. Yeah, so we get some interesting effects, and depending where we are on the horizon, we can actually have this guy, the big guy, actually floating above the horizon by several ships worth, even, depending how hot it is. It's just, there's not enough heat saturated into that water yet. Now, if we went to right a bit, I just saw Big Boy. Where is our friend? So Big Boy's quite far off now. Let me update the map quickly. Oh yeah, there's our Big Boy. He's turned right. He's actually now heading due east, believe it or not, but because the angle we're at, it looks fairly side on, but he's actually nearly heading away from the camera now. He is now 1, 2, 3, 4. He's now 14 nautical miles. I know it doesn't look like it, but if you had a little man drawn there, he'll be 14 nautical miles away. Amazing, right? Now, there's also a little guy around here, according to the map, and I just can't see it, which is a little bit annoying. Right, I'm just thinking what to look at next. So if we go, we're going to pan southbound. Hello. Now, who is this? Hello. Right. Now, he is a ship at, if I look at my compass, 120. So let me draw a line 120. He is over here. I'm not sure which way is he facing. I think it's a static. No, he's moving. He's moving northbound. I don't appear to have him on the scanners. Also, his range looks severe. I wonder how far out he is. Let me update this again. Reload. So if I draw a line 120, can't be that guy. I really don't know who this guy is. I've got a purple out there that suits his position. Can we see the bow? Can we see the stern? Is that the stern we can see? Or we? Yeah, we're seeing slightly stern on. Look. So that means he's heading right of left of north. It might be this guy I've got out here, just before one of the wind farms. Actually, it may be wrong. There's no way of clicking on it and actually finding out. Not from what software I've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a bit grid squares. So that is 20. So if he was this guy I'm looking at on my scanner, he is 20 nautical miles would I be able to see him like this with 20 nautical miles at 120 feet ASL? Don't really know, so that's an interesting one, and I can't see any obvious effect on the viewfinder to indicate his range either. What I need to do is makeshift my own little radar up and try and get some FM ranging going on, because everything I'm having to guess is by azimuth, and it's actually really hard to do to plot this azimuth. Being a ship captain must be a bitch. Or a ship lookout. Right, we've got something there of interest, but I have to. Here is our static guy in the low kind of tide there. So I know him, and I've got him plotted at 2 grid squares and a bit. So that's just about 8 nautical miles. That's got 8 nautical miles. No odd effects or anything. He should have buoys around him, and he does. That's that there. And he should actually have a ship right in front of him. Now you might be able to see, and I mean it's a blue ship, so it's a tiny thing. You might be able to see a speedboat in front of him. I can't see a speedboat or a small vessel. I'm just going to get my telescope out. I've got 20 to 60 by 60 here. Let's have a little look, shall we? What do we got, sir? So let's go at 120. Where's the bloody sea? There it is. It is! Yeah. I don't know. Hang on, I've lost it. Where is he? Yep, there is. If you look at the structure we're looking at, slightly left of that, can you see a little vessel? Let's try get this stable enough. Obviously I'm using the tripod for the camera. There is a vessel on the left of it. Yep. Can't get the focus quite right, but whatever that is a blue vessel. Looks civilian. I can't look at it close enough. I can't hold it still enough, but that's interesting. So that tiny little vessel you're looking at is, let's update the map. Well, he's actually come a lot closer now apparently, but I mean, it's a long way. It's like 7 nautical, 6, 7 nautical, which is interesting. Right, I'm just thinking what to look at next. So let's just have a little scan around the horizon again. Now this fella here, that's interesting. What's that? I can't really see it through the viewfinder. Let's see if I can see it with the telescope. Let's see if we can ascertain a range of him. Yeah, I really need a radar. Alison, there's no way she's going to let me build a radar. That there is, I can't hold it till it. An oil rig. It's interesting. I don't know what you can see of that. I've got a much bigger zoom on my telescope here, and for me that thing, whatever it is, either a ship from the rear or an oil rig, is actually floating, and that's probably optical. That's probably illusion. Let's see if I can stabilise it anymore. Man, that's far away. No, I can't get still enough to really see what that is. But there's something going on there that's interesting. Hopefully in the footage, 1080p, it might have some interest. This has got some mirage effect on it. Let's see if we can go back to this guy, see if we can pick it up on the camera. If we go left and find old monkey nuts, where is he? This guy here, who is, bugger, why has it just done that? Okay, he is 60 nautical miles out, is this guy. He's right getting on our limit now. And I don't know if you can see a bit of a mirage effect at the bottom of the hull, especially the bow. You can see there with my telescope, it's got some weird kind of effect. Matey boy, who's turned away from us now, who I seem to have lost on my scanner. Old big boy, look at that. Cool, right? Now, what we can start seeing behind him is the next thing of interest. It's the wind farm. Now this is wind farm 1, known as Greater Gabbard Wind Farm. Let's see how many is in there. In fact, I'm not even going to count. There are hundreds of wind farms in there, okay? In the middle of the North Sea. And now I can barely see on the viewfinder, but you can see that we can't see the bottom of them. And that is because they, even though we're 120 ASL, they are, let me measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're 24 nautical away from us. So the bottom 50, 100 foot, whatever, of those farms, and they're massive, those ones out to sea, is you can't see them. So they're covered by the curvature of the Earth. Don't you find that interesting? So when this ship gets as far away, and he's halfway between us and those wind farms. When he gets to those wind farms, the ship is pretty much going to have disappeared. And this is an interesting thing that I'm reading about naval history at the moment, how big a thing this is. If there is a ship more than 12, 15 nautical, and it's not that at all, it doesn't exist basically visually because you can't see it. Although you can refract light around the Earth in that kind of miraging effect that we talked about, and you can refract, I think, it even more extreme radar waves around the Earth, over the horizon radar waves, which is really interesting. Is that caused by ambient altitude specific temperature differentials as well? Not sure, need to research that, but interesting, right? So with a radar set up, I could bend my radar beam around the surface of the Earth and see the bottom of those doodahs, those windmills. There's something interesting else out there. One of them has moved, I'm not sure which. Now I'm going to try and find the southbound, the southernmost wind farm, Galloper Array Wind Farm, Galloper. Now he's at 130, so I'm going to have to get my compass out again. So he is going to be really hard to find, because the main problem I've got is I can't see what you guys see because I haven't got the viewfinder. So I'm just going to have a little look around, and we can only do this today because the fog is light, although I can already see the fog is starting to come in. So I think it's even south of this. So I'm just going to try and find a landmark that will take me. I think our big fat-legged friend here would actually take us to it. Fat-legged friend. Now, can you see any windmills behind it? Because if I draw a line from us to him, maybe slightly left, I should see some windmills. Now, can we see that? I'll have to get the telescope out again and have a look, I think. Found them. Found them. Now the mist, sea fog is just starting to set in, so we might just catch it if we're quick. I've got to get to, really what I need to do is strap the compass to the, so what I need to find these boys, find above their mast, then 1 degree right, there. Now I can't see it on the viewfinder, and you might not be able to see it because of video compression, which is going to be awkward, but around that ship is Galloper Array Wind Farm, which is now 26 nautical miles away, and I hope you can see it. I think you're having a problem with the zoom, so I'm going to try and move you down just a little bit. Has that helped? I think that should help the zoom recognition of it. So behind that boat which is heading away, and that boat is now actually pretty far. Let me do a reload. He is getting far. That ship there is now 17 nautical miles. I mean, I'm doing it roughly by eye, you know. He's about 17 nautical miles, and we might even see some interesting visual effects of him. But the wind farm behind him, which the compression may or may not be getting rid of, just because of how this kind of sensor and intelligence works, the wind farm behind him, which I hope you can see, is 25 nautical away. And look how much of the base of those wind farms it's cut off. We can only now see the top of those, so it's cut 100 or 200 feet, I'm guessing, purely guessing, maybe 100 feet of the legs of those wind farms off at 25 nautical miles. So the biggest ship, the biggest, tallest clipper, you know, probably wouldn't be visible at that range. Even from, and bear in mind we're 120 ASL here, so a ship of a moderate size would have no chance. Okay, so we've had a look at these different ships, some of the miraging effects. Again, it's difficult for me because I'm using a 2-inch viewfinder to do most of this, but I'm guessing by the just the distances that we're talking about, the odd effects that we're getting, and looking at the ranges, and bearing in mind 120 ASL, the over the horizon clipping that we're getting, which I find is quite interesting. Just wondering if there's anything else to look at. Don't think so. Right, I think I'll sign off there. I better get back to real life and see you later.